I am a firm believer you don't need to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on a cosplay and make it look amazing. And I actually brought a couple of my examples. I do a lot of, I go to Goodwill, I go to Ross, I go to thrift stores, and I find things, I don't spend more than, I think the most I've spent on a costume was like $50 for a base, and that was off eBay. And eBay is a really good resource. You can find a lot of stuff for inexpensive. You just have to wait a while because it comes from China.
Yep.
And sometimes it's a hit or miss, but you're not spending a whole lot. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, whether or not it's usable or not. And you can then go to places like Joann's and Hobby Lobby and Michael's, and they provide coupons. Please spend your coupons. If you have a smartphone, definitely get their apps because the coupons will save you in the long run a couple $100 on buying the little extras for your costume.
Yep. And if you're ever needing fabric, I've always found that sheets and curtains at Goodwill are excellent sources. My fiance does an amazing Hawkeye, and he actually got the amazing maroon color with texture and everything for the fabric for his vest out of curtains from Goodwill. So don't discount that, and it's awesome for, like, what do you want to say, patterning out your costume. A lot of people on the internet will say to use like really cheap fabric like muslin or something like that, but you know, that still costs quite a bit of money per yard. Even with coupons, use Goodwill. Like, nobody else is going to buy that for any other reason. Like I've used sheets there for actual like aprons and stuff like that on anime costumes, and it's worked out perfectly. Do you have anything else?
I can use this mic,
okay,
because that makes me want to sing. No, I'm kidding. Some of the things that we put the costumes together, you can use different ties and stuff like that, little connections. Velcro's popular. Baseball
awesome.
Hats, your caps, the little pieces in the back where it clips together, that is excellent for connecting little things to your costume. Like you have a neck piece. I cosplay Batman, the zombie Batman, the demon Batman. I'm working on a more of a 66 tactical, more up to date, like a 66 color blue, that type of thing. So that I can go. Ultimately, I want to go to children's hospitals and meet and greet the kids and stuff. That they'll never forget that. My demon Batman and the zombie Batman, I have a face piece that I put in so that everybody can say, oh, he's an old guy. You know, you can tell by the gray hair and everything. But I have 4 grandkids. They love it. The other thing that you can do is I have found they call parachute clips. I don't know if anybody knows about those. You go and buy those at the store, and those things are expensive. The best way, well, that, and then not just that, but we mentioned Goodwill.
Yeah.
Go to yard sales, Goodwill, and you can find the book packs, or backpacks, and you can find those all on those. And I mean, there's different sizes. I mean, I don't know how many different sizes. So, I mean, just open your imagination and look around, and you'll find things you can use, and it's really cheap and real cool.
Yep.
Another good resource is if you ever find something on the internet, you go, oh wow, that's really cool. I like those tools, like the Dremels and the screwdrivers and all these expensive machinery equipment. If I go to Lowe's right now, I'll probably be spending about $60, $70 on a brand new Dremel, and I have. And then 2 months later, I went to Harbor Freight, and I really regretted buying it at Lowe's. You know, we have a Harbor Freight here in town off Havendale. I think their Dremel's what, 20, 25?
Yep.
And it's usually plugged into the wall, so you don't have to charge it or anything like that.
Exactly.
And it stays the same speed the whole way through.
And I spent $70 on my Dremel and $30 or $40 for all the extra bits. Harbor Freight has it for I think $25 for the Dremel and $20 for all the bits, and you get just as much as if you paid full price at Lowe's. And I absolutely love going to Harbor Freight and finding like the obscure tools that you can't find at Lowe's. Like a chisel set, like a full package chisel set. You paid $20, honey? he helps me with all my props, so he knows all my tools and my machinery. But
It was only 15.
so he only paid 15 for it. So definitely take use of Harbor Freight, and they also do a lot of sales. They do parking lot sales.
And coupons by mail.
Yeah, coupons, and that's something that we stress is.
Sometimes they give you stuff for free just by buying one thing. You can get another item for free.
Don't forget, they've got a sales catalog too in store.
Yeah.
So
Harbor Freight, if anybody doesn't know what Harbor Freight is, it's like discount tools.
supplies.
It's like the big lots of hardware stuff. It's awesome.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. One of the things that you can find at Harbor Freight that's kind of difficult, if you go to Lowe's, and not knocking Lowe's, but with Cosplay, the one thing that's really important that we have found is the passion of building something. But you don't want to go out and spend, like she said, thousands of dollars to do this.
And you can.
And it can add up real quick. But give you an example, with my body armor, I'll use EVA foam, which is actually the floor mats. And you get like 4 for $8, $9 at Harbor Freight. You go to another store and it's $15, $20.
Or they'll have it for like $20+ at Joann's.
Yeah. And so the big hobby stores, those are good to go in price comparison. And they have the, like she said, the coupons that you can, find some good deals and stuff like that. Some of the places that I have found some, like there's you're doing Loki. There's a gentleman that does a Loki helmet, and he uses contact lenses that are the UV, and he bought 2 little LED lights that goes in his bracelet at dollar store. And he attached it up under the rim, and so it turns on. Well, it shines in his eyes. It makes his eyes glow. It's awesome to see these things. And it's the one thing about cosplay is use your imagination.
Yes.
You're not limited, and that's the coolest thing that I have found with doing cosplay is the coming up with an idea, going through the process of building it, and then seeing it like come to life. And then when you put it on, and the response when you go, kids, even
the haters.
Yeah, people. What'd you say?
I said ignore the haters.
Oh yeah, because you're going to have that, and I've always put that in my mind that well, they're just scared. Guys, one of the reasons why I'm up here, guys, do the cosplay. It is so awesome. Don't let anybody tell you that you're not capable and you look sissy and all that.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing. In cosplay, we all, the one thing that I have noticed, and one of the reasons why I love going to the Comic-Cons, is because you can be this close to someone and actually almost like bump into them. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. It's like the most polite people
Because
that's
people
left
know
on
how
board.
much time they spent on what you're wearing.
Exactly. And it's so cool. And they look at it and they appreciate it. Now, I'm going to speak for the guys on this part. A lot of the guys, we think that it's awesome that women will dress the part. But true cosplayers that have built the costumes, for myself, if you don't fix the costume or make the costume, anybody can go down to Halloween's, Party City, and buy the sexy little costume. And guess what?
There's nothing wrong with that either.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. But and if that's to get you motivated and that type of thing, that's great. But after a while, really get into it, because that's when it's really cool. And if this is something that you really want to pursue, when you go to a contest, sometimes they have a
Prejudging.
Yeah,
Prejudging.
prejudging. Most of the big costume
Yeah.
contests will have that.
and they will look, well, did they buy this? Did they make it?
And a lot of costume contests require that you make at least 70% of your costume. Now you can easily, go to Goodwill and take something and completely change it and alter it. I have Luna from Sailor Moon from the second movie when she turns into a human. Well, making a dress like that would have, taken a lot of time. So I bought that at Ross, and I bought all the fabric, and I put the serging the hem on it. I made the little ruffles, and then I bought the gems at Hobby Lobby for it. And I used it, I put, made a little fluffy and everything. I got the wig, I styled the wig, and that would, hold up in a costume contest. The Giselle dress, another option, if you're not confident in making the costume, don't overstep your confidence. If you're afraid you're gonna mess up, there's a website I like, it's called Cosplay.com. It's a website for cosplayers to discuss anything cosplay. What I like is their marketplace. A lot of these people don't, some people don't hold on to their costumes because of space. So they'll sell it for maybe, half, maybe third the cost of their costume. I got the Giselle dress for like $25 off another cosplayer. I got my Ice Elsa dress. Someone commissioned an artist for to have it fully made.
That one I like.
That one's not my budget costume, but
oh, it is.
It is. A lot of people will do payment plans. If you're discussing with another cosplayer, you can do payment plans through PayPal, and you can pay for something over time. So if it is a $500 costume, which I paid, that's what I paid for. Bought it off the person. I did it in chunks because I knew I don't have $500 to drop on a costume. I mean, I don't know if any of us
I'm
here
going to stop
do.
her for a second. What she's not telling you is this was a $3,000 costume that she bought for $500.
Yes, and it was from a professional costume designer and maker, and she's slightly well known with the Disney cosplayers. So, and if you ever heard of Firefly Path, that's where the dress comes from. Just type in Elsa Firefly Path, you'll see the dress. It's immaculate. But, and that's a wonderful resource, is just buying off other cosplayers, because I'm weird, I hold on to all my costumes.
I do the same.
But there are some people who use the sales of their costume. They only wear maybe one or two a year, and then they sell them so they have the money to start another one. And that's okay too, because then you can be like, okay, I want to do, let's say, Giselle, and I wear that, then I'm like, okay, now I want to make it. Well, now I have someone else's design to go, okay, that's what they did, so when I go to make mine, I can pull some of those techniques and make mine the same way.
I make all of my own costumes just because for me it's less about wearing them. For me it's the journey of making them and learning the new procedures and things. Like Nadine and actually met at Dragon Con this past September. She was part of my He-Man villainy group that I had put together, where I did my first suit of armor, which was Evil Lynn from He-Man, and used this amazing material called Warbler.
Oh, yeah.
Warbler is a magic material. It's a thermoplastic, which is slick on one side and rough on the other, and you heat it up with a heat gun, and it bends and it moves, and then when it cools down, it holds that shape. It's awesome.
It's a pain in the butt.
I
love it.
It's amazing.
It's plastic.
It's
so
expensive.
It's
Say the word again.
Warbler.
Warbler.
Warbla. And there's only about 2 or 3 places in the U.S. that you can purchase it from. However, if you're looking it up, buy it from cosplaysupplies.com. You get a discount for buying multiple sheets. And there's no shipping cost. On top of that, though, to me, learning from the process is the really cool thing. Like right now, I'm working on like a Power Ranger helmet, and I'm working from doing a paper model. So what it's called is Pepakura. It's a 3D model, and you're able to print it out on paper and then rebuild it as a puzzle in real life. And you can hold it in your hand, you can put it on. It's awesome. Then you get into like the toxic materials like resin and Bondo glass and auto filler, and you wonder what in the world are you really doing here? And my new goal this entire year is to take the things that I'm learning and make them, take people along with me. So I'm doing a lot of video blogs and blogging this year. So it's cosplay community is definitely a learning community, and everybody wants to teach each other. It's definitely that kind of place, and it's awesome.
We're all just nerds in costumes, and at the end of the day, whether we spend a couple dollars or $1,000 on our costume, we love One thing I love about doing costume contests, especially at the bigger conventions, is I like to pick brains of people. I see a technique and I'm like, ooh, how'd you do that? And I've never had somebody tell me, no, I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's just a costume contest. I've seen the most prize being $500, and I'm pretty sure that's not, that they're getting.
That doesn't pay for their outfit that they made.
And so it's more of they're just wanting the bragging rights, and to share that joy and love of competing and winning with each other. It's not like a pageant, like I've done pageants, it's nothing like a pageant where you ask somebody a question and they're like, oh no, I'm not telling you because I want to win.
That's my secret.
Exactly, it's everybody shares. And the one thing to go back on the Warbler thing, is when you get Warble and you cut it up and you have all these scraps, it's reusable. You can heat it up, you can squish it together,
clay.
And then
it's hot to your hands. Like,
yeah,
it hurts.
It does hurt.
It turns it into very hot Play-Doh.
I've got scars from the heat gun. Cosplay isn't easy, and you're gonna
hurt yourself. So please have a first aid kit nearby.
Always safety first.
Yeah.
Yes.
She needs to learn that.
Yes.
I have you do all the dangerous stuff.
I have a question for you.
For me?
Yes, 2 questions in one. Have you heard of Metal Gear Solid 4? And do you think you would dress up like Big Boss?
Yes, I have heard of it. I've been doing this for like 3.5 years. The first year, I was like interested in it, and I'm like, this is so cool because I love to work with my hands. I love building stuff. I've always loved to draw. This cosplay is like an extension of being an artist.
It really is.
And it's a whole new media to where some artists that are trained, they do oil paintings and they're beautiful, and people look at it like, I wish I could do this. Cosplay is something that everyone can do. YouTube has hundreds of tutorials.
Pinterest is amazing.
Yes, Pinterest, and they have all the different ideas. Yes, I would love to do. The armor is, to me, for being a guy, doing the armor and everything like that, coming up with the different styles and everything, that's always been really awesome to me because you can fiddle with it a little bit, and just like come up with different types of characters or extensions of the characters and add a whole new storyline to that character. And it's cool when you add that together and put it together and somebody says, what Batman is that one from? I'm working on like the 66, and then plus also I've got one that I did a Nightwing, but he's more of like a cross between Red Hood and Nightwing. I don't know if you know that. Kind of evil, that type of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I've got the whole skull face, and now I'm going into the Punisher, but I want to do a whole different style of Punisher where it's like, oh crap, yeah. When you walk in the room, it's like, yeah, I'm not messing with that guy. That type of thing. But
I've seen a Mario-style Punisher.
Oh, yeah. and look them up online, and if you say, well, if you think that you're limited to your imagination, go back to when you was a child, because I'm 53 years old. And like I said, I have 4 grandchildren, and they get a kick out of it. They love coming to Papa Rudy's because they get to see all my collections and all that stuff. But you would not believe my oldest grandson, he's 9, they call him Bruce Wayne at school. He has a little suit that he wears from time to time to school. That's his Bruce Wayne suit. Okay. My youngest grandson, he'll be 4, this next month, and he is Bruce Dwayne. So it's something that you can inspire. But see, here's the thing that's cool with kids. If you get inspired by the character, after a while when you start researching the character, what I have noticed is that when you start understanding the